Like damn, she in her mood. 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 She lit, get money too. Like damn, she in her mood.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's your spiritual big sis, Shina Mystic, and I'm not gonna tell you shit wrong. If you are new to this channel, welcome. On this channel, I make content about self-development, and I also share my own personal interests, which include spirituality, music, lifestyle, beauty, and fashion. So if you've been with me from the beginning, you know, welcome back. Gang, unicorn tribe in this thing, okay? Today we're gonna be talking about reinventing yourself. I'm gonna share my personal struggles, my personal process, and how I've been reinventing myself. I'm also going to be talking about why you need to reinvent yourself in order to become your dream girl, okay? Let's hop into my story first. So I have been in this process of reinventing myself because I had taken on an identity that wasn't necessarily authentic to who I was. I was kind of going along with what I felt like I should be doing or who I felt like I should be, instead of just embodying the person that I really wanted to be and the person I really knew I was at my core. So I've been on this journey of reinventing myself and stepping into the best version of myself. And some of the main struggles that I have faced on this journey was like imposter syndrome and battling my mind. When you have been being a certain way for so long, you get stuck in the fact that that is your identity. You start to identify with the behaviors that you have been consistently doing on the regular basis. The way you've been showing up, that's how you are now viewing yourself and your identity. However, there comes a point in your life where you realize, okay, who I'm being is not serving me. It's not helping me reach my goals. It's not helping me stand into my power. It's not helping me become more confident, and it's not helping me create my dream life. And so at that point, once you get to that point and you realizing that, it's like, okay, it's time to reinvent. It's time to turn it up a little bit. We got to turn this up a few notches because this ain't working no more. When it comes to reinventing yourself, this is about changing your identity or your perception of yourself. In the manifestation community, they talk a lot about self-concept, and how you view yourself actually does affect your life, which is true. If you view yourself as somebody who's shy, you're going to show up that way because now you have created an identity around being shy. If you view yourself as somebody who's broke, now you're going to be broke because you have created an identity around being broke. And so in order to change your life and in order to move your life in the direction you want to go, you're going to have to reinvent yourself. You're going to have to do something different. You're going to have to change the way that you see yourself and view yourself. And this requires you to just give yourself a blank slate. The biggest issue I had with trying to reinvent myself was being too attached to the person I had been. It's like, you know, a lot of times when we've been a certain way, it's like, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm switching up or I'm changing up. That's part of the process. As we grow and evolve in life, we're not going to be the same. It's just impossible. It's impossible to be the same as you're learning and evolving and growing, because if you're the same, then you're not learning, evolving, or growing. Like, who wants to be in that boat? Reinventing yourself is about changing the way that you see yourself so that you can become the person that you want to be. And so the first tip I got for y'all is you just have to give yourself a blank slate. You got to tell yourself, you know what? I'm starting over. I done fucked up the first part of my life. I'm starting over. All right, let me get it together, okay? Who I've been seeing myself as is not the person I'm meant to be. You need to start seeing yourself as the person you're meant to be, or the person that you want to be. If you want to be somebody who's confident, you need to start seeing yourself as a confident person. If you want to be somebody who's wealthy, you need to start seeing yourself as a wealthy person. If you want to be somebody who is talented, then you need to see yourself as a talented person. And let me give y'all an example, because you know I'm coming with examples, period. I'm going to bring some examples. Beyonce, right? Or anybody in the entertainment industry, before they could even get there, they had to first see themselves as an entertainer, a singer. If Beyonce wanted to be a singer, but she didn't identify with somebody who can sing, then she wouldn't be able to achieve that. Same thing goes with a doctor. You have to be able to see yourself being that, identify with that. Focus your energy on what you want to identify with. If you want to be a content creator, you have to assume that identity. That has to become your identity. Whether you're doing it now or you're doing it later, a content creator has an identity that I'm a content creator. And you have to think from the place of being the person that you want to be. And in order for you to do that, you have to let go of the past version of yourself. A lot of times, like I said, this past version of ourselves, or even being around people who remind you of this past version of yourself, can keep you stuck in this loop of doing the same things over and over and expecting different results, which we know that ain't coming. One of the things I also suggest is changing your environment. A lot of times it's hard for us to expand outside of ourselves when we're around people who have known us our whole life, or people who have a certain view of ourselves. And a lot of times it can feel like a shackle or a chain to keep you a certain way. Sometimes you got to move away to where nobody know you, where this is a fresh start, because it gives you the opportunity to really show up the way that you want to show up, because you don't have nobody who knows you. And so you can introduce yourself any way you want to be seen. This right here is a pro tip. If you are somebody who constantly worries about how you're being perceived or anything like that, use that to your advantage, because you can use that to mold how you want to be perceived. Think about it like this. When people play a role, this all the time in dating, where people say, they started off this one way, but then their true colors came out or whatever. That's because you can control how you want people to perceive you. Somebody who wants to be perceived as nice, they show up that way. So use the way that you want people to perceive you as a guideline to how to reinvent yourself. You want to be perceived as somebody as confident. So use that to your advantage. Think of people perceiving you as confident. How would you act if you want people to perceive you as confident? How would you act if you want people to perceive you as somebody who is high value, somebody who values themselves, who don't play small and stuff? You know what I'm saying? You have to use other people's perception to your advantage. That's a pro tip, okay? Think from how you want to be seen. All right, we talked about moving, and we talked about starting with a blank slate. Number 3 is the most important thing. You may feel imposter syndrome as you step into this new version of yourself. Why? Because you're not used to being that person. You're not used to showing up that way. What you will find is that it takes practice. It took repetitive behaviors for you to identify as I'm shy or whatever the case is. It's going to take repetitive behaviors for you to start identifying as something else. So when you start showing up as this new person, don't get discouraged by like, oh, this feels fake. It feels like I'm being phony. It feels like I'm acting this way. No, you have to be persistent in becoming that person, because the more you show up that way, then you become that. It becomes part of your daily life. It becomes part of your mannerisms. It becomes part of your mindset. You have to fully embody this person that you want to become. It's about embodiment. And yes, like I said, you may feel a little imposter syndrome when you first start doing it. It may feel like, oh, this is not natural, but that's because you're changing. Change is uncomfortable. It's like the metamorphosis when it comes to, the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. You start off as a caterpillar, you get up in the little cocoon, okay, and you're coming out as a butterfly. Like, you had to go through a whole process to become this butterfly. And it's the same thing for reinventing yourself. You're starting off one way and you're going through this metamorphosis process so that you can spread your wings and fly. And so, yeah, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. The cocoon going to be a little tight or whatever. But, you know what I'm saying? You got to see it through. If you really want to become this person, if you really want to be that person and you want it to come to you naturally, you have to start walking in it. There's no other way but to walk in it, embody it. Don't pay attention to the imposter syndrome. And when that imposter syndrome sneaks in, go ahead and affirm your new identity. No, that was the old me. The new me is this. Okay, I found that that's very helpful on my journey, defining what's the old me and what's the new me. Because, like I said, that chain, that invisible chain that connects you, sometimes you need to establish within your mind, that's the old me, this is the new me, so that your mind could get on task. For all my baddies that's ready to reinvent themselves, Now is the time. You are absolutely not stuck being who you've been being. At any moment, you could decide to be different. You could decide to change your identity. You could decide to become the dream girl or the person that you want to be. But you have to believe in it, and you have to be dedicated to becoming that person. And most importantly, you have to be willing to embody that. And you have to be motivated by your own personal desires or your passion to become this dream person that you want to be. So I hope that this video helped y'all. I hope it gave y'all some insight. If it did, please let me know down below. Like, comment, share this video, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.